All right, I guess we're starting then. What's up, Golden Frying Pan people? Welcome back to the kitchen. Happy Valentine's Day, if you believe in fake holidays. I'm not a big fan of Valentine's Day, but still, I do think that it's kind of important. You know, it's nice. Love's nice. I think we can all agree. Um, it's really interesting. I think this sense of love that we have cultivated. Oh, that's unfortunate. That we've cultivated as time has gone on, right? Because it's kind of cruel. It's not necessarily. It's interesting. There is different cultures with different perceptions of love. I don't think anyone can really contend that. But regardless of that, I do think that it's cool to look at different versions of it. Not really. Oh, that's a sentry. Not really. What I want to talk about today, though. Today I want to talk about our specific perception of love as a culture, and just as people, and as a culture, but mostly as people. Um, you know, I think the way that we look at love is kind of messed up. It's just a wee bit oxymoronic, and overall unfair to both parties because love, especially in love stories, tends to be this like hyper idealized dude is he's not winning. Hyper idealized super like you die for each other and you are each other's equal or not equal. Obviously you're each other's equal. Whoops, Freudian slip. No. Where you guys is each other like you make each other, which just straight up no. No. You are not missing somebody. If you're missing somebody, if you need somebody else to be happy, then you're just not ready for a relationship. That's the short simple of it, right? You're just not ready for a relationship because it's unfair to put that sense of responsibility onto somebody else. And sadly, I can speak from experience in this. Hey, he finally got one. It's entirely unfair to try and expect other people to fulfill you, or also it's unfair to expect there to be this perfect match, it's completely unrealistic and it's unfair to you and the other person, right? Because even if it starts off like that, that doesn't mean that it's actually like that. That might just be a fabrication, right? That it's easy to believe a lie, even one that you're telling yourself for a couple of minutes, right? If you're telling a lie that nobody can believe ever, you're just not doing a good enough job of it. Because it's true. If we want to believe something, we will. That's the simple fact of it, right? And love, people don't want to be alone. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. People don't want to be alone. It's bad. Now more than ever, as we realize that other people exist, but now more than ever that it feels like other people have what we're looking for. Now that it feels like these super idealized relationships exist, but they don't. It's like Instagram, where you see a photo of a girl with big tits and a skinny waist and everything. It's like how do these girls exist? They don't. That's the secret. Just letting you know. I mean, maybe one or two, but not nearly. Not nearly the amount that Instagram says, and not at the consistency as you'd think. Those tend to be highly curated versions of it, versions of people. It's the same with guys. Guys will have these idols of, like, for instance, my unhealthy idol is Link from Breath of the Wild, or really any Link, but especially Breath of the Wild. Link from Breath of the Wild is not like super buff, but he's definitely masculine. He's definitely strong. He's strong enough that he's able to like parry a several ton boulder launched at him at several miles you know, it's going way too fast, and it's way too heavy, and he can just parry it, and it's gone. And it's game physics, of course, but still, he canonically is able to kill entire armies all by himself. He's him, you know. And I want to believe that I can be like that, but I just can't, fellas. You know, we can't. And that's just a simple fact of being alive. You're gonna have these unrealistic expectations and these unrealistic things that we want of ourselves. You know, that's not inherently the worst. It's good to want something, even if it is a little bit unrealistic. That's not inherently the worst thing in the world. Oh, sorry if I bonked you guys. That's not inherently the worst thing in the world, right? But it becomes really bad whenever you put other people in the mix, you know? Whenever you make it so that your love life, whenever you make it so that your friendships, but we're specifically talking about love, so I'll use that as a reference. Whenever you're talking about love, right? It becomes really, really hard because now you're no longer just... Wait, hold up, wait. Ooh, that's unfortunate, really. Try me. That was really stupid, but hey, that's what CFT is about. So, it becomes really dangerous whenever you involve other people, because then you get this idea of, like, what should be, you know? Ooh, that was... I just saw that. The only reason why I didn't die to that is luck, really. That was the wrong thing. It's hard to say. Frick. It's hard to... Okay, I think I'm just gonna hang out right here. Ow. Yeah, no, that wasn't gonna work. It's hard to say one way or another if there's a right sense of love or right expectations, because after all, everybody's different. So expecting one thing from one person could mean entirely different than expecting the same thing from somebody else, right? It's good to have people and references, right? That's all right. But it's dangerous whenever you continuously enforce those upon other people. However, I will say this. Going off of the idea that I was talking about earlier, with going off of the idea that you know, expectations are impossible, right? A lot of expectations are just simply impossible. One of the most important things that sucks. One of the most important things that sucks for that guy is to understand that it's important to kind of just settle, to put it simply. It's important to be able to just not get what you particularly want. I think love is finding a balance of the things that we both know we need, and love is finding out what you need, right, and what you're willing to change. Because realistically, you're not going to find that perfect other person. You just won't. It's not going to happen. But you can grow with someone until they become that person. Same thing. You're not going to be that other person's, you know, missing link. But you can grow and change into the person that they want you to be, right? I think that love, in a sense, is finding somebody that you're willing to change for, right? And finding somebody that you don't have to really reinvent yourself for. I thought that was just a part of it. That's funny. 'Cause, like, not changing yourself forever for everything, you know, is kind of bad. It's bad, right? Never changing and thinking you're perfect. You're not perfect, right? Simply, you're not perfect. And expecting yourself to be perfect is unrealistic to you, and it's unrealistic to them, and it's just overall not good. However, if you change every single part of yourself for someone else, right? that is going to lead you to being manipulated. That's going to lead you to being taken advantage of very easily. I've seen it happen before, because people are so afraid of being alone. They're so afraid of who they are without them. Because, like, even if they're unhappy, they figure they're at least unhappy with somebody else, And that's a very real feeling. It is, right? Simply. I can't really fault people for that because it does. It feels bad to be alone. It feels bad to just feel so utterly isolated, especially in a world where we have so many people and so many things constantly showing that they exist, It feels bad. However, it's important to know that being with somebody else but unhappy is worse than being alone yet happy. Working on yourself, being okay with yourself, improving your mentality, and getting to a part where you're happy with yourself is vital to have a long-lasting, fulfilling relationship. You can't do one without the other. It's just simply not... Oh, this guy's having fun. It's simply not possible, right? You're not going to find somebody that will fix you. You just won't. They're a complement. They're not your missing half, right? That's quoting Steven Universe. I hate Steven Universe, but I saw that one clip on Twitter or Reddit or somewhere sometime, and I figure I'll take credit for it, But no, seriously. Okay, then. It's not like these people exist exclusively for you. That should never be the feeling that you get, and that should never be the... Oh! No, I'm gonna die because of that, but I don't care. This has been a crazy game. You're never gonna find somebody that just makes you, You're never gonna find somebody that makes you, because even if you find somebody that, you're like, oh, this person completes me, you're eventually gonna find something wrong. That's the thing about being with somebody for long enough. Your love, in theory, is gonna last forever. And this is one of the reasons why I think that relationships have become so much more, I don't want to say temporary, but like marriage has become a lot less prominent. And there's other reasons, people don't listen to Jesus like they used to. But aside from that, it is a real thing that like people really want to be wanted, right? But whenever you're in a marriage, right, that is a promise that you are never going to, that is it, and that in the past has led to people becoming complacent and content, which is you should never take your significant other for granted, right? You should never wake up and just expect them to love you because you're you, What? He was disguised as his teammate? Okay. Okay, not never. It is really nice to know that there's somebody out there that will just be there for you. But also, that becomes really, really dangerous, It becomes dangerous. Because then it becomes less about the relationship and more about what you can do for them in the relationship, or they can do for you, whoops, oops, my bad, or what they can do for you. And that's breeding ground for a toxic relationship where people don't actually appreciate each other and don't really appreciate what they're, oh, yeah, he needs heal, and don't really appreciate what they do for each other, right? Whenever you feel like you are God's gift to Earth, and that, everything, that this person should love you for no other reason aside from the fact that you exist, and that you are, you'll tolerate them, then it gets really, really toxic, because then it stops I didn't even get a hit marker, nothing, I just went flying, okay. Then it becomes less about the relationship and more about you. And that's important to avoid. I read a book called The 48 Laws of Power. And I hate that book so much. I don't know if you guys know this. I hate that book because it's just about manipulation, right? It never really addresses being okay with being okay, you know? And I think that's a big problem that's occurring in love nowadays. But if you guys disagree, feel free to comment down below. That was a crazy game. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you guys have a good Valentine's Day, and I'll see you guys next week.